Richie Mars, John Cena, over under 10 more singles matches in the rest of his career.
Wow. Whew. Uh, if I was a betting man, I don't bet against Cena, but I think it might be under.
Oof. I think 10's hard. You say 5, all right, I could see 5 being over, but 10? That's a
Yeah.
commitment. He's
Yeah.
committed to Hollywood, so it's just like, ooh, yeah, that's I didn't say Royal Rumble, I didn't say tag team, I said
Right.
singles.
Yeah.
So, it's a hard
And
one,
it's
10. That's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and especially because this run is so different from all his other runs. You know what I mean? Again, we got Cena back from the Hollywood strike,
Mhm.
and really this run has been almost solidifying that this crop of talent, this generation's crop of talent, are legit stars on par, possibly with a John Cena. Look what he did with LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, like everybody in between. So I think this run is definitely about him giving back. And also, he said at a press conference, I think for Fastlane, that this was like a test run to see where he's at in whether he should stay retired or think about retiring or move forward with these sporadic appearances.
Yeah, I'm curious. Rumors is that he's gonna be at the Survivor Series now, so we'll see. All right, so 10 matches. I'm gonna call it a push for now. But, it's interesting that Solo Sikoa gets one.
Mhm.
Let's talk Solo real quick before we end with Cena. Solo Sikoa, I've always been like, I think he's a kind of like a B guy, like a B tier guy. I don't really think he's that guy that should. There was people saying he should dethrone Roman Reigns, and I'm like, I don't think he is that guy. I think by happenstances, he's getting over pushed in a way where being around the bloodline and being the enforcer and so on and so forth. I think
Mhm.
that he's kind of at his peak now, but I think he just levels out to be like an Umaga. What's your feeling on Solo Sikoa? Do you feel that he is a main event player, or do you think he's like on the tier of like Umaga, gateway to the main event and can travel there when needed?
So you're saying he's not that guy, pal. He's not
Mm,
that guy. But
not to me,
I,
anyways. But
I,
I could be proven wrong. I still think
y-
I don't see the depth in him. But it's early.
this point in Solo's career, it's not about depth, in my
Yes.
opinion. It's about association and who is he associated with, but the top star of the company. And once Roman leaves, once Roman's reign ends, whenever that may be, it could be WrestleMania 40, 41, whatever.
Mhm.
Solo's pretty much going to be pegged as that guy, as that person who's carrying that Samoan dynasty, like The Rock did, like Rikishi did, now like Roman did. So it's pretty much he's being put on ice for a little bit, and there's always time to develop him as that superstar that you see, like with an Umaga, with a Rock or Roman. So I think now is the time for Solo to get this premier matchup. This is probably his biggest matchup up to this point.
One on one,
And
marquee wise, absolutely.
yeah, and if you think about it, Solo doesn't really lose that
No,
much. Like he'll lose occasionally, like he lost to LA Knight. I think he lost to
Cody
Cody, and that was
Rhodes.
like his first.
Go home at
Uh,
WrestleMania, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only a handful of losses, and he doesn't compete in matches as much as we
No.
think. He's just pretty much there by association. So I think they're very smart with how they're building Solo as this silent killer, like you saw in that tag match with Roman Reigns against the Usos. Like he was the one that was snapping Roman out of it. So I think we're going to see a very vicious, different side of Solo in the months to come. But as of this match right here, I think it's still kind of the building blocks test era to see where Solo Sikoa lands in the roster currently.
Hey, someone with a more keen eye than me, someone more invested than Solo Sikoa than I am, might see that big upside of the one to dethrone Roman Reigns and have it be successful. Because they can go on there and they could have Butch dethrone Roman Reigns if they want to. It's they write the script, right? But that guy, it needs to be an effective dethroning. You know what I mean? So it's just like one of those things where it's just like I've never really believed in Solo Sokoa being that guy and it actually working. But like you said, he has really good mannerisms. I just don't feel that he has the depth within those mannerisms. And to your point, that he's in a role right now as an enforcer, as an associate. So that depth doesn't really need to be there. He needs to be hammered in as the nail of the bloodline. So Solo Sikoa versus John Cena is the match that we were previewing, obviously, as we are halfway through here. Richie, who needs this win more? Let me present it to you real quick before you give me your answer. Solo Sikoa, rising star. Some say the next big thing. John Cena, less than 10 matches left, some would say. And he has not had a win in over, was it 2,000 days?
2,000 days he didn't win a televised singles one-on-one match. The last one he actually won was in Saudi Arabia against Triple H.
At the Greatest Royal Rumble. Okay.
Yep, 2018.
Interesting. All right. So there's your painted picture. Which one will win second? And first, which one should win and needs it more from a character aspect?
Gosh, it's tough because, yeah, would you believe me if I said that both of them wouldn't be hurt by a loss? Because with Solo, this is his first true test. And with being a first true test, you are allowed to lose. You know, no one comes out of the gate hot unless you're a Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? And Solo, this would probably establish him, if he were to win, as a very serious threat and contender. But at the same time, John Cena's on that downswing right now. So would you rather beat Cena at his peak or Cena when he's at a downswing? So there's a lot of different ways you could play with it. So I think Solo would tremendously benefit. But if Cena were to hypothetically win this match first and then they have a rematch down the line where Solo would win, I think that would solidify Solo even more.
I do agree that John Cena needs the win. And to your point, what did that win for defeating John Cena right now in 2023? What did that do for Austin Theory? You know what I mean? He can say it, but at the end of the day, it was a house show match at the coldest point of a very hot WrestleMania and it opened both shows. So it's just kind of like, let's see the kind of effort John Cena gets out there and gives Solo Sikoa too. I think that might do a lot too in the long run from, with us ardent fans or even not so ardent fans. Maybe if it open, well, I'd like to say if it was open, it'd be a cheat code, but it opened at WrestleMania. It wasn't necessarily a cheat code. So I'm curious where this match is slotted on this Crown Jewel card, which is loaded, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm actually curious who wins. I think, to answer my own question, I think John Cena kind of could use it more, as in kind of start building him up to that potential 17th victory and having be meaningful, because even my buddy Steve, who did a match preview for us, who was an ardent fan, an old fan, he did a match preview for SummerSlam where he talked about the Battle Royal. And then John Cena somehow came up as I was talking about mystery guys as potentially joining. And I said, oh, John Cena strike. You never know, right? And then Steve was like, well, John Cena, he's one of my favorite guys. Him and Hogan are my favorite guys of all time. When Hogan or John Cena comes back, I tune in. And John Cena hasn't won a match for God, who, like, they're just having him out here just losing to guys, and he doesn't care, and he's meaningless. And I only care about John Cena, and I want him to win. So I was like, Steve kind of makes a point in a way. It's like John Cena can come back, but I know wins and losses and his star power is fucking massive, right? And he is the biggest star we got. But from a kayfabe standpoint, from a booking standpoint, I believe that he should start winning some matches.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, because John Cena, whatever you agree with the announcer when they say he's the greatest of all time or not,
that's annoying.
He is he was that constant presence for WWE during a some say very down point in creativity. And he was the one who was carrying the banner, like waving the WWE flag. And, we complained about Super Cena, you know what I mean? And now we're seeing a different side of Cena where a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit like more of like, we could have seen this, after his loss to The Rock for a little bit more character development, but hey, better late than never. So with John Cena, I think a victory for him here would do more longevity wise if he decides to come back every now and then than if he were to take a loss. But John Cena at this point, it's just as big of a test for him here than it is Solo Sikoa, because John Cena, again, in that press conference, he's not sure he's at like the crossroads. Is
Mhm.
he going more towards retirement, or can he still go? And I think depending how he does in this match, it'll give us that answer not only for the future of his career, if he even has a shot of being or winning number 17 for because
Mhm.
his performances have been, for lack of a better term, very safe, very close to
Yes.
the vest. It's like you said, house show-esque,
Mhm.
where it's just kind of like, if you've seen one John Cena matches, you've seen this one plenty of times. The shoulder tackles, the whirly bird deal, the five knuckle shovel, and then the AA. You know,
With a lot of pandering in between, but it
yeah,
works. It's a Hogan
it's like
formula. Yeah.
he is a master of crowd work. You saw it on the past couple of SmackDowns where he could take the crowd on the emotional roller coaster, and not a lot of guys can do that when they have a 2,000 plus uh, day streak of losing televised matches. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And it's a very interesting thing to tell this story with John Cena, specifically, just because of how dominant he was during his prime.
Yeah. So I'm curious where he kind of lands coming out of this. And final prediction here, Richie. Who's winning
Mhm.
this match? Who needs it more?
I gotta go Cena. Cena needs it more, especially at this point of his career. The story of the match is he needs to win, and usually when babyface say they need to win, usually it's a good decision for them to win. Solo's still fairly young in his career. I think he's only been on the main roster, only since like a year at this point.
Clash of the Castle. Yeah.
Yeah. So Solo still has time to cook. You know what I mean? It's like he
Mhm.
got some subtle teases with him and Roman kind of butting heads in the summer, but that has cooled off significantly. So you still have time to kind of play around with Solo Sikoa, and who knows, maybe a loss to Cena would actually turn him more unhinged, because you saw like in backstage segments, he's just staring at John Cena
Mhm.
and just upset. We could build off that, in my opinion, of that John Cena Solo Sikoa rivalry. You know what I mean?
And LA Knight versus Roman Reigns is in the main event. I would bookmark this as your opener, and that is your closer. And perhaps Solo Sikoa comes in to do the deed for Roman to protect it. Cena comes in to help LA Knight from that, and then maybe Cena gives LA Knight a bump or something, and we kind of bookend that story too. But for that to be meaningful, let's end this 2,000 plus day losing streak and get John Cena a victory. And then we can start rolling the ball with John Cena being more effective in his next feud.
Mhm.
So Richie, let's plug something before we get out of here. Retold with Richie Mars on TikTok, Instagram. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I'm at Retold Richie Mars on the TikTok and the Twitter and the Instagram. Do TikToks. I try to release content every day. They're usually
Mhm.
a minute and a half, maybe a little bit under. Just giving my thoughts of the current day situation in wrestling, and also some past stuff as well. And I also host a podcast called Wrestling Retold and Relived with Richie Mars. New episodes every Tuesday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. This week is a special Halloween edition, because episodes release every Tuesday, and we're going to be talking about Halloween Havoc 97, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio. All the backstory of that match, how Rey Mysterio was going to lose his mask, and then at the last minute change, I get sides from Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Eric Bischoff, and then we try to find something in the middle to see where the true story lies.
Awesome. And that's out tomorrow as we're releasing this on a Monday. And yesterday, Richie, you made your Chronoso debut, giving us a review on The Ultimate Warrior and the Honky Tonk Man from the January 1989 Saturday night's main event. So check that out. Ton of Richie Mars in this parts of the area, and people are loving it, buddy.
Thank you so much. It was definitely a cool match to see. Again, I wasn't around in the '80s during the golden age of professional wrestling, as they say. And yeah, seeing Ultimate Warrior and Honky Tonk Man kind of work their magic, man, you can't get any better from that. And as I saw during my viewing, the more things change, the more they stay the same with certain aspects of wrestling, which shows that even stuff back then works today.
Absolutely. Richie, thank you as always, and we'll catch you on the next one, buddy.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course.